Hello beauties! I'm so happy you are here watching this third video from the trilogy I've been making about spiraling over Jungkook of BTS and what that awakened in me. This last episode is about Delulu or divine and more about what if one leads to another. As far as I'm concerned, Jungkook is a soul who chose to shine in the spotlight as a K-pop idol and reflect back to me who I really am. The intense state of euphoric intimacy merged with inner stillness opened a hidden door into a sacred space, the space of the divine. Why wouldn't this perspective also fit in with their logo, the door that BTS and fans connect through? What if there's also about entering the sacred space, a space of the divine? That's the space I now invite you into. This is where I share what I discovered through deeper reflection and research, rooted in ancient Tibetan teachings, especially from Garchen Rinpoche, on Deity Yoga. So, if the first video brought you in through observation of the attraction, and the second video inspired you through action in daily life, let this third video be an invitation to embodied transcendence. Let's not escape life. Let's fully and truly live it as spirit, as presence, united, as the one who has always been whole. After I gave my presentation, my teacher congratulated me for being aware and for using this phantasm to heal. And I was left with questions like, was my experience Delulu? Was it astral? Was it imaginary? Or was it divine? If it wasn't about Jungkook, as my teacher implied, seemingly, softly brushing off my love bubble with JK, then what was it really about? So I began searching for deeper answers, not from fanfiction, not from psychology articles on parasocial relationships, but from spiritual lineages that have explored the nature of imagination, love, and soul awakening for centuries. My understanding and personal interpretation of the ancient Tibetan teachings of Garchen Rinpoche on Deity Yoga goes like this. When you think of the beloved, you become the beloved. When you rest in compassion, you become compassion. You are not visualizing the deity. You are arising as the living embodiment of the divine. This turned my worldview inside out. I've come to understand this as a sacred practice of remembrance, where the divine form we visualize is not an escape, but a return to who we've always been. The true practice isn't to become perfect, it's to stabilize divine confidence, not arrogance, not performance, not showing off, but a deep knowing that our essence is already sacred. And this helped me see the truth of my experience with Jungkook. I figured the same principle must apply for visualizing a charismatic man like him. It wasn't fantasy, it wasn't delusion, it was recognition. Because when I opened myself to his impact, it was my heart's longing to break free from false separation and to rest in the original light. When I called his name, JK, and he appeared, I wasn't lost in projection. I was becoming what I saw in him. The beloved in him was the beloved in me. The love I felt, the euphoric intimacy that flooded my being, was actually God loving me through the form of Jungkook. The experience was mine, so was the meaning I assigned to it. And when this divine confidence arises, we become more than a person confused by an intense love that takes us to the point of madness. We become love in form. We just need to make sure we bring along our discernment and let that love be raw and pure and see it for what it is with detachment. We'll mysteriously become whole. When divine euphoric intimacy delights us, the mind expands beyond the grasp of identity, and in that expansion, the ego softens and melts away. The tight grip called ego isn't something we need to fight. It's just a veil, a set of old habits, stories, fears, attempts to survive by holding on to an identity, a name, a title. But in the soul-lit presence, the veil thins, and what remains is vastness, spaciousness, the ungraspable depth that holds everything, grief and joy, longing and fulfillment. It is our soul remembering her original faith. And when I touch that place, through Jungkook, through euphoric divine intimacy, I no longer needed to be seen. The one who needed validation dissolved. The heart of God isn't somewhere else. It pulses in our chest. To awaken is not to become someone else. It's to stop running from what we've always been. We don't need to fix ourselves. We only need to stop clinging to what we are not. And when love, compassion, and joy, discernment, and peace arise from within, our universe breathes easier. The prayers, the moments of silence and awe, what are they pointing toward? The remembering that there is nothing lacking in the natural state of our own awareness. Every dream we've ever chased, every identity we've ever held on to, all of it arose from one source, the boundless, radiant spirit within. The spirit that is the origin of both illusion and awakening. When we feel the desire to serve, to love, to uplift, not from strategy, but from the depths of our own soul, then we are already living as a deity, not becoming, living. Because when we drop the grasp of identity and meet the world from stillness, from real tenderness, from awe, then even the touch of a cashier's hand at the supermarket becomes holy. This path doesn't ask for effort, pretending, or control. It calls for divine confidence, the quiet knowing, based on discernment and purity, that we were never separate, we don't need to grasp, just trust. When that divine confidence stabilizes, we stop chasing. We become love in form, not for anyone else, but because we remembered what was always inside each one of us and what unites us all. We don't need to ascend to meet God. We just need to be still enough to let the sacred walk in. This is not about worshipping others. This is not about an idol or a crush. It is about our essence. And the sacred way our essence knows how to awaken from within. And when euphoric divine intimacy of love merges with divine confidence, then phantasm, idols, illusions fall away. And what remains is the real I, our divine essence. This is about remembering ourselves through the catalyst of grace that God places before us. We are God awakening in form. Think of it as a hide and seek divine game. So, if someone touches our souls so deeply we feel like going mad, let's just not rush to explain it. Let's just sit with it, breathe through it, and let it show us who we truly are. And if you're one of those who is Delulu about Jungkook, if you've ever dreamt of him, if you felt him in your sleep, or if you get yourself swept away in that magnetic pool that he radiates, then what if this perspective that I'm sharing now is here to bring you back to yourself? What if the only thing you really need to do with these intense feelings, with this insane attraction, is simply this: elevate them. Lift them into the hands of whatever God you believe in. Offer them as prayer, as a gift, and see, truly see, how deeply loved you are because of how much you are able to love. Find that comfort space within. And if you found this video not through the Lulu spirals over Jungkook, but through the spiritual thread itself, and you want to go deeper into these teachings, I invite you to check the Sacred Teachings playlist on my channel. I will be posting a more detailed personal translation, interpretation, reflection there soon. About Deity Yoga as taught by Garchen Rinpoche, so you can explore this wisdom for yourself. Until then, let me know in the comments, how did this land for you? What moved you? What is your perspective? What feels true? I'm really curious to know. Let's spirit.